Tell me about the day you had yesterday.
Man, so we met yesterday with the PACE. So PACE is an energy efficient program where if it allows you to have upgrades to your property, and so these upgrades are from based off of energy, and so solar panels, energy efficient windows, the material like if it's steel, these
Installation.
all exactly. So these installation, so these are all energy efficient upgrades. So if you're adding these upgrades, there's government money and private money to back it. And so they put that capital stack into your company, and so essentially for build outs, or if you take those old office spaces, what we're doing now is they're able to convert those into condos and apartments. So to qualify as a PACE program, it's just really the what upgrades are you bringing to the property, and energy wise, that's pretty easy to do, obviously. So it's 100% financing, which is super exciting. Anytime you can get a
Hold,
hundred, what's that?
wait, hold up. So you're saying because the kind of crisis that we're seeing like in the commercial space at the city level, a possible solution is to retrofit that building to make it livable for people residentially.
Correct. And so there's a huge affordable housing crisis going on right now, and every city for the most part, especially big metropolitan cities, they have a huge need for affordable housing. And so that's where we're doing it. We're bridging the gap. We're taking pace and we're adding that as a solution for these cities. So I'm a former Dodger, and so me and my buddies that used to play as well, we're going straight to the cities and we're saying, hey, we're bringing capital to address your affordable housing issue. And so then they're able to participate by donating land or giving land at a discount. And then since we're providing capital, we're kind of helping them bridge their gap as far as funding some of these programs. And some of these houses, like I said, there could be abandoned buildings that we can go ahead and, the city, maybe like the deeds weren't paid, and so the city just has it on their books, and so that we can come in and provide funding options, so where we can put veterans into homes, we can put and help the overall homeless issue that a lot of cities face. But we're just providing a solution.
Wow. And if you're adding more inventory to supply, that's going to help drive prices down, making it more affordable for people.
Exactly.
Wow.
So exactly. So, Austin, for example, affordable housing is like in the 500, 400. We want to make it to where we're bringing 3D printing solutions. And again, that fits the PACE model. And then we're able to, build these houses for cheaper so we can truly make it affordable, especially when we have the city participating and helping us with the land acquisition. And so it kind of helps, one hand washes the other when it comes to addressing these affordable housing, the crisis going on right now.
So you said PACE program a few times, and I'm sorry I kind of missed it the first time. Can you break that down one more time?
Yes. So essentially, what PACE is, it's an energy efficient or energy upgrade program that we're able to use government money, because there's a lot of grants and government money when it comes to energy, right? And so we're using that money and we're stacking that, and we're actually completing it with private money. And so we're bridging both and putting both of those into what they call a capital stack. And that capital stack allows us to identify properties where it allows us to play in the big leagues, so to speak. When it comes to Home Depot, Lowe's, if we find these buildings, now what PACE does is they fund 25% of the capital stack. So the difference they're actually able to bridge. So it turns out to be 100% financing. And so what happens is that money goes into basically that loan is non-recourse, meaning like that loan stays with the property wherever the property goes. So it has to be paid off. And so what they do is we amortize it over a 20-year period. And so with the low interest payment. So we're getting a low interest payment amortized over a 20-year period, and we're getting 100% financing, and we're leveraging credit to do it. So it's like that's the generational play to be able to participate in the big leagues. So you can be in the minor leagues playing in the big leagues now, because now you be a small builder, or have a small business and get your credit right, and then we build out your company to where you have your corporate veils. And so we're building out exactly how your operating agreement needs to look like. We're building out, what you're, getting it, making sure you have your tax ID, your business account set up properly, making sure that when you get funding from these grants and from PACE, that you're set up to win. And so that's why in our back office yesterday, the reason why I'm so excited is the one of the Peter who actually found he got PACE passed through legislation. He's coming on our team because he sees the work that we're doing in these communities, and he said, you know what, it's all about the community. He's like, I built out 3,000 doors with affordable housing, and when it comes to assisted living, I've been there, I've done that, but I want to see these programs actually make a difference, and so that's what I'm here to do, and him and Michael. Michael is the one that he's been mentoring, and so Michael is connected to me, and he's just an amazing person because he's bringing these people that he's meeting, and it's almost like divine appointment that everybody that's positive and helping people are coming together for a common good, and it just feels really good.
Wow. So tell me, where do you currently see like this kind of rolling out so far in your world, like city wise?
Yeah, so the whole strategy is, the fact that we're a credit repair company, we're able to like help people with their credit, and really the first step, because if you don't have credit, everything, all the good stuff that I talked about, it hinders you from being able to tap into those funding options. And so, really, the credit education piece is even more important because we can help clients fix their credit, but like the financial literacy component to what we're doing, really what we're talking about, and teaching about home ownership, and also teaching about building your business because let's be honest, there's a lot of tax benefits owning your own business, and there's a lot of as far as government programs that allow you to tap in, if you own your own business, a lot of write-offs if you own your own business on everyday things that you do. And so being able to teach and educate the clients about how to build that correctly, that financial literacy component is one of the best things that I feel like what you're doing, Omar, with the vets and with real estate, and you're teaching them about how you build a generational wealth so your kids can have a future. And so that's really where we're coming from. But it starts from the foundation of financial planning, credit, you know financial instruments that you can actually use, like infinite banking, to where you become your own bank. And so now when you're needing to get your daughter that new car because she got into college, you have financial consultants and planners that, like, we're able to help them, and not maybe me because I'm the credit guy, but we have a certified financial planner that we can set them up with, so we're building them up for success. And I think that's really where it starts.
Wow, so you just said something there that I had not kind of connected the dots yet. So not only do you have a credit repair business, but you also see the financial literacy component missing. So you added that to your business to complement each other so you can really help people.
Correct. You hit it on the head, Omar. You're on point with that.
Right
Because that's
on.
really what the true value add is. And connecting them with people that are, advocates for them. Because at the end of the day, you know, it's all based on what they want. So we really have to sit down and find out what are they trying to accomplish. I mean, we know about financial planning, financial wealth, but let's gear it to what their short-term goals are, and then let's build them out to their intermediate goals, and then let's get the bird's eye long-term 15-year plan for them, and then we can you know kind of based off priority, because it may be like an immediate issue, like I got to get my family into a bigger house because we're cluttered in this space. That might be the short-term goal of, like, how do we get them a bigger house so they're not able to function better as a family, and then just learning out whatever other issues that we can bring solutions to. That's really, we're problem solvers at the end of the day, but we got to know what those problems are. And then when people understand that we're here for them, so it's not like we're talking about the long play right now, not short, but like sometimes the short plays are the most immediate. So if we can relieve some of that stress in the short term, it allows the clarity for the long term projections.
Wow. So I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but since we've met and we've been talking, especially kind of how I think we see how we conduct business and how we want to operate. We see business as very relationship based. Because I know we've talked about word of mouth and the referral being like a core of our business, and we don't see it at all as transactional. I think for folks who look at credit repair or look at real estate agents, we have this reputation of being just that, very money driven, seeing it as very transactional. And I'm here to say that if you work with us, I hope you can kind of see that in the videos that we're doing. That's not how we want to run our businesses, because we see the long-term play of all this, right? Because if you ultimately succeed, we're going to succeed. And that's how we are as people, and that's how we want to run our business.
100%. So, hanging out with like the 100 millionaires, $100
Yeah.
guys yesterday, they talked a lot about relationships, and you hit it on the head, Omar. I mean, it's all relationship driven. They want to know who the people are. What is your story? Anytime you can tell your story to other people, and there's a magic in terms of relating, and so uh, telling your story to as many people that are willing to listen, I think that's important because really, once you have that empathy for somebody's struggle and empathy for somebody's successes and understanding what it's like, so that connection that happens is truly magical. And so what we try to emphasize on is that consultation, that initial credit consultation with our clients, and then understanding what led up to where they are. Because most of the time, they're we see 400, 500 scores, but there's a story and a reason why it got that, whether it's a death in the family, whether it's a divorce. I mean, the credit report actually tells the story, but when you hear it from the client, there's that connection of like, oh man, I can relate to what you've gone through, or maybe I can't. But I can empathize with the challenges that you've had. But here's some solutions that let's be practical and start setting some goals and align those goals with the action steps that they have. And then when you do that, that's really when the true magic happens because it's not about it's not about a dream anymore. It's about reality in motion. And then you can write them out. I'm really big on writing them on paper because if you don't put them on paper and you just say, "Hey, I'm just going to keep them in my head," you know, you lose power in that. But when you put it on paper and you hang it up and you put it and you post it in, next to your mirror
Mm,
and you see it,
yeah.
then every day it makes like the challenges and the opportunities that are coming to you, that it becomes more exciting because it's like I have a plan, I know what I want to do, those action steps align with my goals. Now let's go. And I have a support team that's willing to help me, so I don't have to try to figure everything out. I just have to keep it simple and control the controllables. That's really what we're talking about.
100%. If you are trying to do something where you're having a huge mindset kind of shift, you need those constant little reminders everywhere all around you, right? Initially, before it becomes like second nature and it's almost in your subconscious, right? If you could see where I'm in right now in this room, I have a whole wall dedicated to just that I've been that going on this journey of mine. So I'm with you. I'm with you, Tamari.
I'm meeting you, Omar. I wouldn't doubt that at all. I mean, how attention to detail you pay attention to, like, and how you're so ahead of your years. When you told me how old you are, I was like, oh my goodness, bro, you're special, man. Like, you don't meet too many people like you, and the understanding of where you're going and how clear you can see your future and how you've systematically set yourself up from success because it's the long play. You know exactly what you're doing in the short time. You already have your intermittent and you have your long-term goals, and then you build everything around you so it's constantly around you, not only what's posted on your walls, but also the people that you surround yourself with, because at the end of the day, we talk about all the time. Your work is your net worth, and so you surround yourself with just positive people that are successful and they're driven. It's contagious. You can't be saying I want to help people on a global level, but if your action steps don't match that, there's got to be somebody that comes into your life like a mentor or somebody that can say, hey, this is how, kind of ring you back and say, hey, this is how this is what I did. And that's what I've been really fortunate enough to have mentors in my life that at the right time they come in and they help with that preparing me to be able to design my life, you know. And that's important when you can design your life how you want it versus circumstance. Because let's be honest, people have problems, but like my mentor told me, Dr. Robert Watt, people people are never the problem, but they have problems, right? We all have
Mm.
problems and issues, and he wrote an amazing book on this, you know. And people are never the problem; they have problems that they're dealing with, and once you're able to get that clarity, then it becomes like these aren't problems anymore. These are opportunities for me to like build an amazing life for myself based on how I want to design it, not circumstances kind of put me in that position.
Mm. Oh yeah, yeah. When you saying that just made me think of that puts that gives you control back, not having that victim mindset, right? Because when you play the victim, you lose control of your exterior world, and then where does that put you, right? I want to circle back because you said something here. Because I know with my audience, I'm always trying to see if I can, what kind of small wins can we give them right now, right? And do you know one off the top of your head? I thought of one as you were speaking, but do you know one off the top of your head, Tamari?
I think the first step is, knowing where you are. So, like having a monitoring service, there's Credit Karma out there. That's the free version. Basically, it's a marketing tool. So they give you a little bit of your credit. They give you TransUnion and Equifax for free. Nothing's free, but by them accessing that your credit file to you, now they want you to sign up for credit cards or auto opportunities because that's the on the back end. They get a kickback on if you sign up for something, right? So, but at least you know where you're at. There's third party sites like Identity IQ and Smart Credit. That's what we use for our clients. It's about $30 a month, but at least you can actually see where you're at with all three bureaus. And then you see your derogatory or you see your positive, and then it's just the education. And I know we're going to have some episodes where we kind of go over the credit report and like really knowing how to read your credit report because nobody usually teaches you how to understand what's an installment account versus a revolving account. What should your utilization be on your credit cards?
Mm.
Payment tendencies, and how you pay your bills. They do matter, and knowing the timing and the cadence of that, and how you pay your bills. These are all little things. Once you know your credit report and how to read it, you can find out a lot of information for what these services provide you, and so you can have that, or you can go to the auto dealership, or go to try to apply for a home loan, not ready, and then those hard inquiries actually hurt your score. And so you go to the car dealership and you don't say, hey, only run my credit one time, or go to the credit union where they're only going to run it one time, versus what we call shotgunning your credit, where you can
Mm.
go to try to find one car, but all of a sudden there's 30 inquiries on your credit report, and you're like, whoa, what just happened? They never asked me about like inquiries and how it's going to affect my credit. And so that's one thing like that I would say is like know where you're at, and having a monitoring system, even if it's the free version, at least you have something to go off of, and then learning how to understand it and learn the information that's on it so you can play the game. Is I call it the credit game. Know the rules of engagement so you can play the game and set yourself up to win. And so essentially that's what we're doing.
Hmm. Wow. So I've been on those websites for free, and let me tell you, like, yes, you can get that for free, but they're not going to teach you how to read that or how to interpret that. If you go directly to a business like Credit Pulse, right, where they'll do that, and you could probably have a one-on-one with somebody, but at a cost. I'm saying that it's worth every penny because ultimately what we're trying to get at here is you in a position to qualify for a good mortgage loan with a good interest rate so you can get into real estate and continue playing this game. Am I right?
Oh, 100%, Omar. So
Yeah.
essentially, yeah, you're setting yourself up to win, and until you know what you need to do, and there's a lot of like power or being empowered by knowing the information, and that's really what we're talking about. Knowing the information, knowing the game, so you can play it, and having people that are really good at what you need, and so what we're really good at is making connecting connectors. We connect the dots. If you need a financial planner, oh, we have somebody for that. If you need a VA realtor. Obviously, we know where we're going with that. If you need a mortgage or private money, or you need a attorney that specializes in wraps and seller finance that happens to own a title company, we have somebody for that. And so it's just a matter of building a team around you with having to charge you all these crazy prices to do it, because ultimately it's the power of reciprocity and giving to other people, and giving them resources that's going to directly help them and their family, not necessarily wanting something back, but doing it because ultimately we know they're going to a good place where that person's not going to take advantage of them. That person or that business has their best interest in mind by helping them. And so there's power that comes from that. And that's really what we're talking about. And as far as sharing the information, giving it away for free, because ultimately, if we can help people create generational wealth for them and their families, that's going to make us live in a better world where our youth are our future. And if we're not empowering them right now, then really, what is our world? I mean, look at what's going on with the wars and all these things that are happening in the world, that all kinds of negative things that we're in a really crisis right now. And so to have the ability to help our youth and help their families and giving them options that they don't currently have, and then setting them up to win, that's really what we're talking about. And that's really what I love about your content and what you're doing. And that's why I told you, wherever I'm at, I want to be able to support what you're doing, because I know that we're going to be able to get the word out to the masses, and we can they can hold us accountable for what we're saying, and we can hold them accountable for what they put on that paper when it comes down to their goals, their action steps. And then we can hold each other accountable. And that's where the true team effort comes into this, because it really is. Everybody's going to have to pull their weight in terms of their roles in the transaction. And if everyone's doing what they're really good at, we're going to set ourselves up to win.
One thing that is my goal and my dream is to create a community like this where you have to surround yourself with people who want more out of life, right? You said your network is your net worth. I love that saying. I've also like you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? So if you look at your immediate circle right now and the people that you're seeing aren't in a place where you want to be in the future, then you need to change your environment. That's like, I think, the immediate thing you can take, like an audit of your life, right? Because change doesn't happen if you're surrounding yourself with bad people, bad knowledge, just that bad energy. Because we want to help, but you need to help yourself first by creating that right environment, right? And we keep talking about credit repair and real estate stuff, and because we know how we use that as a vehicle to generate wealth and help others. And coming on here, putting ourselves out there with video, we want to help create this community so you can learn and feel like, hey, if you comment below, or you can have access to us, because all of our information will be in on our social medias, and there's a way to contact us. That way you can join the community and we can help you, like, change your narrative, change your trajectory of where you see yourself.
Yeah, and that community is so special and powerful, because look what we're doing now. We're building a community virtually, right? And so the fact that we can get this information out to the masses, and somebody that can literally tap into it, where it's like that divine appointment, like, how where we're creating, and that the energy that we're creating, and the power of words. When you put positive things in the air and you just start talking positively about anything, and you can stay in that 90% of the time, and then just catch yourself on how powerful your words are negatively. And even if it's how it comes out, because the identifying positive versus negative as it pertains to yourself, that's really what we're talking about. And so when you can identify and catch yourself when you're being positive versus negative, and then you're surrounding yourself with people that are mostly putting positive out there, it's that energy that comes, and you're forming that energy of, like, now you're going to attract more positive people by being more positive. And it's just that, and then if you're doing that in a community where this community that we're building, we're controlling the narrative and getting the information out that's needed, and where we're seeing what we're missing. And once you learn that information as a person, might know how we are, Omar, but naturally I'm going to want to tell other people, and then they get the information and they're going to get it, and they're going to say, they're going to be on the phone and be like, girl, I met this guy at Credit Post, and this guy
Mm-hmm.
named Omar, and they're doing all these great things. They just gave me this information that's going to help our
Yeah.
family. Boom. They just tell
Yeah.
that person and the other person, and everybody, it spreads from there. And so that's
Mm-hmm.
really what we're doing right here. And we're creating that community, we're creating that culture that cultivates people to want to do more and be more, right? And at the end of the day, we're really talking about investing in ourselves and knowing what that investment needs to be. That's the key. Knowing what we do really well and what do you need to work on. Having those honest talks with yourself, even if it's in the mirror, and identifying what is what I call being in sage, which is everything's a gift and an opportunity, or what is my sabotage? What are the things that are holding me back in life that literally I'm doing to myself, right? So once you understand that, then you can pull back and say, all right, I start identifying when I'm positive, when I'm in sage, or when I'm sabotaging, right? What we do, we have a program where we take a personality. I had to do this myself, where I took a personality assessment test and I learned what was holding me back, and I it was tough, because I self sabotaging myself versus, my natural state is everything's a gift and opportunity, and when I wake up, I want to conquer the world and what's coming to me next, and being in that 90% of the time, and then naturally we're human, so being in saboteur, we're gonna have our bad days where we wake up and we're not feeling it today, or we go to bed and we're like, man, am I really where I'm supposed to be? And sometimes you doubt yourself. But if you can identify when those times are, and then have, ways where you can literally, mentally understand when that, and you label that, now you have a way where you say, oh, it's a game now. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. That's a great thing. Even if you may not think it's totally a great thing, but those words are powerful that you put that in the air, and then you'd be surprised just how your life just starts falling into place on just mentally what you tell yourself, and the words that come out of your mouth are extremely powerful. I was talking to Michael about that. He's with Pace. Like, I was talking about that, and he agreed. Words are very powerful, and just being. And I believe we talked about that too, Omar,
Mm-hmm.
and how powerful words are, and being positive, and it just kind of. Then your life kind of just starts aligning with either one or the other, and then that's how it's either going to go up or kind of stay stagnant or go down.
I hear you. I hear you. So, okay, I kind of want to wrap things up here. So, we talked a lot about mindset because that's a huge part of all this. But I want to give you guys something tactful that you guys can do or start thinking about at least. And when it comes to real estate, when it comes to credit repair, the very first thing you could do is give us an opportunity to talk to you because we need to do like I do a consultation too, virtual or in person, so we can figure out where we can bring value to you to see where you're at in life in your journey if you want to buy a home or fix your credit or just learn more about how this stuff works because maybe you're like 6 to 12 months down the line going to be ready, you know. So the consultation is the very first thing you can do to talk to us. We can figure out again what kind of value can we bring to you. um I think Tamari, you can help people from any one of the 50 states. Is that correct?
That's correct. In every state, the Fair Credit Reporting Act is different, but we get licensed and bonded in every state, so we're able to help everybody. So because we have, clients coming from everywhere, because just the model is being able to help people, and then we reach out to realtors in those communities, and we kind of like that's how we're able to like see making sure that they get again the right team around them. So that that's our model. So every state we have like kind of like a chapter or a division in every state where we at least have one rep that works for us or works with us.
Gotcha. Works with you. Okay. If you live in Austin or near Austin, that's where I'm located. But I work for a global brokerage. So anywhere across the United States, even internationally, we I can connect you because one another thing I really want to drive home here is that if you like kind of like what we're about and what we're saying, that's who we partner with. That's who we surround ourselves with. That's how we build out our teams, build out our business. So we find people with the same kind of core values and like-mindedness, and that's who you can kind of expect to hear from if it's not directly with us, because we're not, if you're not in Austin, then I really can't help you locally, but I can at least point you in the right direction.
Absolutely,
All
and
right.
that's the
Yeah.
power, and that's the power of that, because the and that isn't EXP, isn't don't you guys have offices internationally as well?
Yeah, we're global.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and then with my network, as far as playing professional baseball and take kids to all these different countries, isn't that powerful? And how like our reach is with this platform that you've created. I just want to say thank you for just allowing me to be part of this. This is like a true life changing opportunity for me. And so the fact your platform, so we can directly help people with all the resources that we're getting right now and people that are really coming on board. Thank you so much for everything. I can't tell you
I
enough.
Thank you for saying that, Tamari, and I appreciate you, and your time. And again, folks, we're gonna keep showing up on here because we know the impact and the reach that we can have. We just ask that you show up for yourselves because you can do this too. But that change starts from within, and taking that first step by giving us an opportunity to just talk and have a conversation. That's it. Then you're on the. Then you're on your way. You're on your way.
Absolutely. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. That's what I like saying. Let's pump the pump every day. We used to say that in Pro Bowl. Every day you pump the pump, you never know when that water's coming out, but the minute you stop pumping that pump, that's when you really got to question yourself, because that's when that water could be right there ready to just explode. So I just encourage everyone to keep pumping the pump every day, and let's just keep showing up.